Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today. As we have yet to test our major resistance level at $49,700 and we do have a potential inverse head and shoulder forming here for Bitcoin. I want to talk about what the weekend is going to look like for Bitcoin, and then we're going to take a look at what's happening to Ethereum. You can see we are finding resistance here. We've yet to come test this major area, and I want to talk about what Ethereum is going to look like against Bitcoin, as we'll take a look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and then as always we'll cover Bitcoin dominance, others dominance. But I want to talk about how traditional markets closed the week. I want to look at the DXY. As you can see, we did close very strong here, and then we'll take a look at what's happening to precious metals like gold and silver, and then we'll look at traditional markets like the S&P 500 and address the closing day candle and the weekly candle, of course, since it's Friday. And so we have a lot to look at today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Obeidi. If you appreciate this content, remember to like this video. First, I want to address exactly what's happening to Bitcoin, because just like we predicted, we are now seeing a consolidation in between 44,800 and 49,700 US. I talked about this being the comfort level for Bitcoin right now to stay in this price range, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We've yet to break out above 49,700, and we know this is the weekend, and so this is the most manipulated time in the cryptocurrency market. And I want to talk about what I'm expecting to unfold during this Saturday and Sunday. Of course, we know those are the most volatile times as well in the cryptocurrency market. So notice here on the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour, we are finding support inside of the red cloud here. That to me is a good sign, but I want to see us break through this and get above this. And of course, that is going to take us, coincidentally enough, towards that $49,700 level, which we know is a very key level for us. And so at this point during the weekend, I believe most likely we will see a consolidation in this range because of what's happening to traditional markets, which I will address in just a second. But if we start to come up and we test 49,700 and we get above that, that would mean that we are starting the weekend off bullish, of course, and that there is a potential we could see a very nice run up potentially towards that $57,000 level. However, if we stay in this range, then of course 44,800 comes back on the table, and the previous weekly and monthly open, which we've yet to test, also comes back on the table. I think that is going to be a very solid long opportunity for Bitcoin if it happens during the weekend. However, if this prolongs into Sunday before futures markets open, and then future markets open and we see a lot of volatility, we have to be careful. And so of course I will update you guys. If you are watching our YouTube channel, if you've yet to subscribe to our channel, remember to subscribe, and most importantly, turn on those post notifications and you'll get our updates. But that's what I'm expecting to happen during the weekend. And understand, at this point, we are also seeing a squeeze in between the 50 period moving average and the 100 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. That could lead us to a bullish scenario, because we do have this potential inverse head and shoulder here, and I do want to address that, because if we start coming up, the neckline, coincidentally enough, also is sitting at that $49,700 level. Of course, that would be another confirmation of a potential market structural breakout, which of course is one of the most important things to look at when doing technical analysis. So keep that in mind. When we look at volume, nothing significant, but I do want to start seeing more institutional type buy volume if we want to stay on the bulls side. And so far we've seen some institutional sell pressure here since the 22nd of February, but we've yet to see the buy pressure equate to the amount of sell pressure since that has occurred, at least on the 4-hour chart. And the 240-minute chart is a very important chart in my opinion. So let's take a look at what's happening to Ethereum, because I want to address this resistance area on the channel. You can see we're below this. However, it's looking sort of like an inverse head and shoulders forming here too, a little bit less exact, but of course the Ethereum price is going to move very correlated to Bitcoin, but also affected by the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, which we'll take a look at in just a sec. But realize that with Ethereum to the US dollar, I am going to be watching this channel resistance. I'd like to get above that sooner than later, but as long as we're above the 50 period moving average on the 4-hour chart, I'm not going to be too concerned. Of course, we know we have the previous all-time high at 1440, which you can see is acting as a very strong support. And then we have the weekly and monthly open. I still am expecting potential strength for Ethereum. If we see downside for Bitcoin, I think Ethereum may not come down to form another lower low, even if Bitcoin does come down and form a lower low. And that's just on the downside. I think that there is a good potential we could form a higher low if we start to see downside, or we just continue to break this and continue to the upside. That's still a very high potential, and that 1760 is going to be my first target for Ethereum if we come back into this channel and we do see the bullish case unfold. But understand, for the bearish case, I know 1440 in the weekly and monthly open are going to be a very strong area. However, I'm not going to determine my Ethereum to US dollar entry based on the Ethereum to US dollar chart, when Bitcoin will affect this chart more than anything. And so I'm going to be watching Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin is, for example, coming down towards this area here, where the weekly open sits, and of course we've got that $44,800 level, that would be a potential entry for me if we see the good volume on the lower time frames during that exact moment, because I want to, of course, come in when there's volume, not when there is a lack of volume, which you will learn in our course if you guys are a part of Traders Profit Club, or if you guys are in the Discord, we talk about that all the time. I do want to talk about what's happening to the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Realize that we do have a potential reversal on our hands, as on the weekly chart, we do have a potential bounce here at the 50-week moving average, but I've talked about this being still unconfirmed because we've got this indecision candle, and that's going to close in a day and 23 hours, and this is a weekly candle. So what we really want to see is for the price action to get above the 20-week moving average, sitting right at the 32,500 Satoshi level. So we need to get above that and start closing hourly candles above 32,500 Satoshis for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart in order to confirm a breakout and a potential reversal to the upside. And talking about reversals, I do want to talk about what's happening to the DXY, because you can see here we broke through the 20-week moving average. So I will cover that in just a second, but I do want to wrap up the Ethereum to Bitcoin analysis. So realize that with Ethereum at this point, I would like to see more strength. That confirmation will come above the 20-week moving average. Of course, if we start to see this breakdown further, then that would be very bearish. Realize that on the daily chart, we have to take it for face value, and we are below all three daily moving averages. And so far, the bears are in control of Ethereum's weakness against Bitcoin. But if we want to see more strength during the next rally, or even during the pullback, and if you're trying to determine what's the better asset to be in, if we want to assume that's going to be Ethereum, we want to get above the two moving averages here, and that's also sitting right at that 32,500 Satoshi level, where we also have that 20-week moving average. And so that's what I'm looking for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. We want to get over 32,500 Satoshis to confirm a potential reversal, or else we do have the potential of coming back down to that 50-week moving average. But we know that we've respected this in the past many times. You can see respected it here, respected it down here 3 times already. And so we know that's a major support level for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And of course, that is also the 50-week moving average showing confluence with this channel support. And so that's what I'm looking at right now. I don't know if we'll see much more downside for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, but who knows? We'll have to see what happens here if we get the confirmation above the 20-week moving average. And then to quickly cover what's going on with Bitcoin dominance, and then we'll get into traditional markets. I know we have a lot to look at today, but this week was pretty crazy if you ask me. And so with Bitcoin dominance, not much happening. We're maintaining this very well. That's a very healthy sign for the cryptocurrency market, specifically for altcoins. You can see we came towards our target above 12% dominance already for the altcoins. And that was our target. Our exact target was 12.15. That is very exciting for altcoins. So at this point, we are going to be monitoring the retest of this major resistance area that dates back to 2017. And so altcoin dominance is showing a lot of strength, as we've been, obviously trading a lot of altcoins on our Discord for those of you guys that are in our Discord. And that is exactly why. And so others' dominance is showing a lot of strength. Now let's talk about what's happening to traditional markets. So this week we saw a breach of the 100-period moving average on the DXY, which is the US dollar value against all other major currencies. We also saw a breach of this descending channel, and you can see we broke through that. We are way and above the monthly and weekly open, and this is the exact reason why we're starting to see some of the markets drop. And you can see we also breached the 20-week moving average for the first time on the DXY this week. And so this is a huge puzzle piece on the table that we have to address. I know a lot of people are talking about rising interest rates and the new stimulus, and so this all has to do with what's happening here. Of course, with banks raising interest rates, it could have a huge effect on the US dollar. With oil and oil breaking out, of course, we talked about this from a major resistance level, and oil typically has an inverse relationship to the dollar. So it's interesting to see oil come up the same week that the dollar starts to strengthen. but that's just a puzzle piece on the table that we have to address, because with the dollar coming up, we know that in the past, it was the start of a bear market in 2017 when the dollar came to the exact consolidation area that we came down here, and then it reversed to the upside and started its bullish trend back to the upside, which then formed another high. And so we have to keep this on the table, and you guys know I'm always monitoring all aspects of the markets along with my analysts, and so we always have a very good viewpoint of what's happening. And the DXY is definitely a big puzzle piece on the table, and we can see with other commodities like gold, we're seeing weakness, even silver seeing some weakness. However, I believe that metals will see some strength soon because of the fact that oil is doing so well as a commodity. Of course, that would bleed into other commodities. So I do expect that to happen, but I do want to address what's happening to traditional markets, because the S&P 500 is having a huge effect on the cryptocurrency market. Realize that we almost came down to this 100 period moving average. And so now that this daily candle is closed, it's a good time to do some analysis. Of course, it's the weekend, and so the markets are going to be closed. I think it's a very nice time to look at this chart. And what I would say specifically here is when we look at the volume, we didn't see as much buyers buy up this dip as the amount of sell pressure that came in, but we've seen that happen many times in the past. You can see here we had a lot of sellers, not as much buyers, but we continued to form new highs for the S&P 500. And so we have to take the volume lightly here when we look at a big market like this worth trillions of dollars. And we come into the macro, you'll realize that even on the 6-hour chart, we are seeing a lot of bearish puzzle pieces here. We're below the 100 and the 50 period moving average on the 6-hour chart. We look at the 4-hour chart and it's a bloodbath. We're below all 4 moving averages. We have to keep that on the table as we start to see markets open up on Monday, and we have to keep this close in mind when trying to interpret what's the weekend going to look like for the cryptocurrency market, knowing that traditional markets had a violent breakdown but ended the week strong, of course, to the upside. But that's always what the trick, trap, and frustrate crew is going to do in the markets. They're going to make every trader feel like they have no idea what they're doing, because that's what they get paid to do, to make other people feel like they have no grasp over the markets and they don't know where it's going next. And that's what the trick, trap, and frustrate crew does. And so at this point, you can see we did close with strength, but of course, we are below all 3 moving averages on the 4-hour chart. So that is food for thought. Realize that yes, we did, see a breakdown, but we did close the week to the upside. And that's kind of why, and this is a perfect way to wrap up this video, that's why I have a good feeling that we might see some more consolidation between 44,800 and 49,700 during this weekend, because the fact that traditional markets did close to the upside, Bitcoin's kind of doing the same thing, entering the weekend to the upside. But I think until we get a confirmation of traditional markets seeing continued upside and we figure out what's going on with the dollar and oil, I don't know if Bitcoin has enough momentum to make the decision to go to the upside just yet. However, I could be wrong, and I think it's important to watch the $49,700 level for a confirmation of that, because if we get above that and start closing hourly, but more importantly 4-hour candles above that level, then that would be the confirmation for me. You can see on the 4-hour chart, we've yet to close a full hourly candle or 4-hour candle above it since we've broken down from this area, and we've yet to even test this resistance. We're kind of just sitting here, and so we just want to keep this on our charts to monitor what's happening. So I know we had a lot to look at today. I will do my book giveaways on our video tomorrow. If you guys want to win a book on this video, just share this video and comment below and I'll pick a winner. But there was a lot to look at today, so I don't want to extend this video any longer. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will keep you guys up to date on what's happening as we start to see price action unfold into the weekend. And I am super excited to see how we're going to open up this week. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, snipers out.